and that's it. So, okay, maybe you have to wait a little bit, 9 seconds. Okay, so here we are. Okay. Okay, so everybody have Inkscape, and if it's not, well, maybe just follow the class, so it's okay. So we had to change a little bit the schedule of this afternoon because basically the big laser cut is under maintenance mode, so something. So hopefully it's gonna be fixed, let's say tomorrow, but I cannot promise it. So what we're gonna do is basically prepare the file, uh, see a little bit how it works in Inkscape, and then we're gonna continue working in groups, in the 3 groups, but instead of like split in 3 groups, we're gonna split in 2 groups. One is gonna go to the laser cuts because right now we have 2 laser cuts available. Tomorrow we will have the small one, and hopefully we will have the big one, but I cannot promise. So one is gonna go to the laser cut, and it's gonna learn everything from the laser cut, and the other one is gonna stay here and it's gonna learn the binary cutter, and then we're gonna switch. Okay, and then so hopefully at the end of today we will have everybody like the assignment of binary cutter and the assignment of laser cut in groups, and then you could focus the rest of the week in your personal project. Okay, so this the objective of today is that. Okay, so this is Inkscape. If basically Inkscape is the open source software that emulates basically, let's say, Illustrator. So basically it's a vector program for drawing, for 2D drawing. What it means vector program, it means, I think so we explained it a lot, but I'm gonna try to explain again. So basically it means that here, as all the softwares, you have like drawing tools, and then have a lot of like different other tools. So probably you will have here these icons that I have here on the right. Probably you will have here on the top. Probably, if I'm not wrong, but doesn't matter. It's the same. So what I was saying, like what it means to be like a vector, is that even if it seems that it's a kind of like Photoshop thing, if I normally all the vector softwares, if you double click in an element, you could just access to the control points normally. So if we double click here, we access to these control points that defines the object. Okay, and this is based in the Bezier curves that basically are curves that are controlled by these little things. Okay, it's like that. Baby, basically you could use it for control the curvature. Okay, so and then if you notice, so when you are in this edit mode, then you have more options here, and when you are outside, you have another kind of options. So you will discover this, but this is clear, no? So which is the difference between this software and Photoshop, for example? So also, if I do zoom, infinite zoom here, as I think so Greg explained, it was like it's in a mathematical approach, so it's generating the visualization of the curves of the definition. So I don't see the pixel here. Okay, with an basically GIMP. I don't explain GIMP because it's not my favorite software, but it's the Photoshop version of open source. So, but if we do the same with GIMP, we will see basically the resolution of the pixel. So the resolution of the object that we are trying to.
So
Because it's just a more simple program. It's more less complex.
It's not simple. It's because basically with GIMP, it's the same as Photoshop. So you are working in the in bitmap images. So if you wanted to work with machines, that then you're gonna translate these vectors in code, you cannot do it. So you have to basically vectorize everything. So this is why if you work in Photoshop, you will never could like translate what you are drawing in a code for the machine, because you need the mathematical formula of a line to then, and that the software could convert into code. So, and this is nice because it's one of the things that Inkscape could do, Illustrator of course too, that is what we call vectorize. So if we have an image and we wanted to vectorize it, so we wanted to convert in this mathematical approach, Inkscape could do this job. Also Illustrator, and there's other software that could do. Also you could do it online. There's like vectorized website that you could just upload an image and then it converts in 2D shapes or in mathematical approach. But let's do an example. Okay, so if we go here and then let's go to internet and search something, it's like, I don't know, something not stupid.
Image.
Yeah, I don't know.
Lighter.
Let's say Fab. Let's say what we find for FabLab. So we are here. Let's imagine that I wanted to cut the logo of FabLab. I know that it's not amazing, but it's okay. So I need this. So I need basically the curves or the lines that define basically this object. And right now, this, if I download, okay, is a PNG. So it's an image that is made by pixels, okay? So I cannot trace this thing. So how can I do this? Inkscape could do this job for us. So basically, if I open Inkscape and basically, let's say, okay, I think so. Can I do this thing or not directly? No, okay. So let's gonna file and import. Okay. Let's go to desktop. Let's find for. Is it not here?
So just a quick question of workflow. If you want to design an image from scratch, say from the beginning, would you start with something like GIMP or Photoshop and do something in pixels? So you put a bitmap and then translate it to vector. Or could you design directly in vector if you know you're going to use just machines?
If you're going to use machines, normally, for example, graphic designers, as I know, normally they work in vector programs if they can. Because then they could just basically scale in any like size. So if you have a drawing or let's say a composition in a Inkscape or Illustrator, have no size. So then you could print it in I don't know, in a
Massive on the wall.
massive on the wall, or you could print it like this without losing resolution. So if you are working in a bitmap image, then you have to take care of resolution. If you know that it's going to be for printing in big things, then you will have more resolution, more details, and you will not have problems. But basically, if you have here, and I don't know, I have my name, this, so have no like resolution, so I could just scale as big as I want without losing any resolution. And if I wanted to print in a normal printer, then I will export as a PNG, JPG, or whatever, and it's going to convert it properly. Okay. So normally, as I know, designers and graphic designers work in Illustrator or Inkscape. Okay. So I'm trying to import things here. If he won, but doesn't want. Is because the image or is because it's me? Okay, let's try to find another one and see if it's the image. Okay. Why I just can't import this thing? Someone can tell me? Someone have Inkscape in opening? Can you try to open it works? It works for you? Could you download something and
I don't know, but some picture.
yeah, just pick some pictures from internet and I will try to explain the
Okay, how does it open this?
it's just in some computers or in some like configurations you could drag and drop directly and in other ones you have to import.
Yeah, but I was even opening from whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine works.
Your works, no? With import or with open?
Import.
Yeah.
Mine works with open.
Yeah, well, mine now.
It's
Let me like put the PNG directly. It's strange because I cannot see here. I'm not seeing. Yeah, but it's no, but it's I have another GPG here. So no. It's not about this. It's about other things that I cannot like say now. Okay, let's try to also, if I'm in the desktop, I'm not seeing most of my folders for some strange reasons. Okay, let's open this test. Okay, imagine that I have this image that now this blue thing is the resolution, okay? It's basically this pixel thing. So try it with another image in your computer. But let's say that I wanted to cut this image. So I wanted to have, it would be like to have basically the lines that define these letters. So Inkscape have here in path an option that is trace bitmap. Okay. I think it's in Illustrator. I don't remember. It's something about trace, something like this. No, it's the same thing. Yeah, trace. So if I go here and I click it, then it gives me a lot of possibilities. Okay, just play a little bit with the options, edge detections, color quantify. If I make the live preview here, I could see more or less what it means. Okay, the different resolutions. Invert. So as more complex, as more colors you will have, more complex will be the translation. Okay. So normally it works very well with when I do this exercise with people that is the first time. Normally I say, okay, search in internet like silhouettes or something like this, because then it's super easy. You have a very good like three-hole. So basically a contrast between black and white, and this is what detects the algorithm. Okay. So basically, let's say for the normal thing, and then okay. And now maybe you think that nothing happens, but you will see that there's two images here. So there's one that if I make zoom, zoom, I didn't explain, but it's with the control key and then the wheel. Okay. If you press control, then you can do zoom. Okay. And here, if I do zoom, it's in a perfect line. Okay.
It's already a vector? Yeah.
This one is already a vector. Yeah. So this is a vector, and this is the image basically. So, and you will know if you are not sure, you will know if you double click basically. If you double click, here we will see a lot of like control points. And here, if I double click, I don't see anything. Okay? So this is a nice thing, and you will use a lot. Even if it's Inkscape or it doesn't matter, it is cheaper. So this idea of like translate or convert.
Since you only select just one letter and color it.
How can I select one letter just? Well, in that case, I cannot do this because basically all of them are joined. So if I double click, this is one shape. So I have to split it if I wanted to. So I have to have different shapes. But in that case, because the image was like this. But if you choose another one, yeah, I don't have here. I don't know why I cannot see this. But if you have this, and you want it to select, yeah, and if you double click, so some things I cannot explain well. Okay, let's do let's do more things. Okay. So a question that it's like, how can I imagine that I have this? Okay, I'm gonna do something quick. Something quick. Okay, imagine that I have this, and I wanted to select, for example, the S. Okay, and it's everything, no? So I could do basically like this because here it's easy. I could select everything, and then copy, for example, and then paste it in another place. But a trick, the easy way to imagine that I wanted to do this, just keep it this shape. It's like use, for example, this tool, the fill bonded, okay? And then I select it, and I choose a color, let's say the red one, and I paint it. Now, this is basically, it's the same way to generate like a portion of this drawing, okay? But we are going a little bit like far. Okay, so we have this and we trace it, okay? Everybody like understand this part.
How does you make it before that you see the vectors?
Do you have vectors or what do you have?
Yeah, but then I need this.
Yeah, or double click. If you double click, you enter to the node edit mode. Okay? So
Does it make it better than Illustrator? You can probably say.
probably, well,
No, it's more because
I mean, probably yes.
mostly the same options.
Yeah, yeah. But you will see, for example, if you start working in Inkscape and you have a huge drawing with a lot of things, it becomes to be like working this document. And for example, Illustrator, I never had this problem.
Okay.
It's better for.
No, it's like, fuck, Illustrator, this is a company with I don't know how many people working there, like earning a lot of money, and this is like open source software, so. But it's, you could, for depending on what you want to do, it's nice. Okay, another thing, maybe when you do, let's say that I wanted to do shape, okay? I wanted to do a round, but then if I press, so you will see that here it's not like, let's say, you are not constraining, basically. How it calls this thing? It's like...
Scaling the right.
yeah, basically here you could just, it's not proportional like square. If you press the control, when you are dragging and drop, then you could just have perfect sphere or perfect circle. And this happens also for the square, okay? Okay, maybe another thing. When you draw it something, maybe you see two colors, one the outline and the other one the fill. If you are seeing this, how you could change this? How you could change this? If you go to Object and you press Fill and Stroke, you will see this menu here. Okay. So here we have the fill, we have the stroke, and then the stroke style, okay? So if I click here, I could basically decide which kind of infill I want, patterns, whatever, okay? I could change the color, okay? Or I could decide to don't have like a fill. I could go to stroke and I could say, okay, I want a stroke that basically is the outline that defines the object. I could change the color also. And here in the stroke style, I could basically increase the stroke. Okay, and I could define basically how many or which is the size of this stroke. Okay. Go here, object, fill and stroke. I think so there's an icon on the top, but I don't have it. It's what? Fill and stroke. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So basically, object and properties. Okay. So this is very useful, and we will use it for do our test. Okay. This is how we will define basically our holes and the size of our holes. Another thing that maybe you need to know is like how to change basically the canvas. So if you go to document properties here, you could define a lot of like aspects of how like basically Inkscape works. But in the base, you could define basically the units or the size and which units are you going to work. And this is reflected here also. So by default, it comes as a A4 size paper. That is nice. But if you wanted to work in I don't know, you have the size of your document and you want to say, okay, I have, for example, right now, we have this. This is basically, there's one of these for each of you. Okay. Start. So if you want me to define this size, at least 1 meter by 4 meter, then it goes here, and then, well, so it could put like 1 by 1, okay. And then the full units I could change also. It's nice.
Sir, where do you find document properties?
File,
yeah.
Document properties.
Oh, sorry.
And there's another menu that you will like it, that is in Edit, Preferences. Okay, so here is where you could change visualization, a lot of things, but the most important, because sometimes for some strange reasons it depends of which language is set in your computer. It's gonna start Inkscape with an Spanish or something like this. So here you could change basically the language and some visualizations. Also, wow, there's.
Which one was it? In file?
So file, document properties is about the document that you are drawing right now. And then the general preferences in edit, preferences, okay? So text, I don't know, so many things. Yeah, okay. Other thing that we could do with Inkscape that is very useful and powerful is the Boolean concept. So the same that we have in 3D. So we have it here. So if you wanted to subtract shapes from another one, it's we made in booleans, okay? And this is important. So especially when you wanted to work with vinyl cutter or others. So at the end, you need basically an line that defines the object and another one's inside, but not like too many things in the same. So I will try to explain. So I could have this one, no, yeah, this one and this one, and I could put it like this. And I say, okay, this is my thing. No? It's nice. But in reality, these two shapes, if I send it like this to a machine, it's gonna do the square, like this, and then basically the circle. And I will have like, basically, it will cut this part, and this is what I don't want. So basically I want the machine to do this process, tick, 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 and then like this. So how can I work, or how can I join? So Inkscape have an option that is basically group, but this is fake. It basically is just grouping the things, but it's not like joining. So if you go to path, then grouping is the, well, when I was saying grouping, it was combined. But these parts here are the Booleans operations, okay? So let's imagine that I'm gonna change the color of one of these. Okay. This is pretty ugly, okay? This is worse, doesn't matter. Okay, so I pick both and then come here and then I say union. And now, if I double click, is one shape. Okay? This shape I could just send to print or send to cut or whatever. Okay? The same with the inside parts. So let's see this thing. Let me send this thing. Objects. Okay. So I have this, and I want to basically do these two holes here. Right now are two objects, okay? But if I select both, and then I go here and I do difference, now this is basically one object, and this is the other one, okay? So if I select it again and I say path difference, then I have just one object, okay? This is so for do this kind of things is very powerful. More than another kind of like software. Okay. Okay. What else? Raster. It's a nice tool, and then combine. This is another thing. What happens if I have? Let's imagine that I have this. Okay. With a nice color. Okay. Without stroke. Okay. And then I have, let's say, a lot of small objects. And I don't want to go one by one doing the booleans. How can I do it? Okay. So this is why there's the option of combine. Okay. So I could just take all of the objects that I wanted to combine, go here object, and then combine. Okay. Now the only thing that I do is like basically make a group. But if I double click, I'm still having the control of each one. And I could basically uncombine or break apart, and I'm still have here, okay? If I have everything combined, then I could just pick this and with the shift pick the other one, go here and difference, and I could do everything, okay? Okay, okay, so let's say that I wanted to make my file test. Okay? We say that the file test, well, you could design by groups and you could design as crazy you want. So I could do many tests, whatever, but we're gonna do the basic, that is basically square. Okay? And now I have this. How can I control basically the dimensions of this square? Here, I think so everybody see these things, no? When you basically select an object. So here you have the in millimeters, or it depends of what dimensions are you working. You have basically the dimensions of this object. So let's say that I want something of, I don't know, which could be in a nice size for this. It's like 5 centimeters, you know? Okay, so let's say 15 millimeters. Oh, too small, because this is 1 meter by 1 meter. But I think it's okay. Let's say 18, and then let's say 40. Okay, so now I'm sure that this square, without a stroke, just with fill, it have a dimension of 80 by 40. That it's not too much. It's going to be something like this. Enough for doing my tests. Okay. So okay, I have this, and now I wanted to basically cut some streets or some holes with the dimension of the measurement or the thickness of the cardboard. How can I do this? So you could do as many things, but the easy way in this program. So you could do something like this, and then say, okay, this width is gonna be 5 because, or 4 because this is 4. Is it 4? No. Okay. And then the width doesn't matter, but it could be like, let's say 20. It's okay. And then I could put here, and I could subtract. No, it's like come from here to here, and then a difference. And I have this. I have the first join. It's just I wanted something to test. Okay, it doesn't have to be super precise in terms of which thickness, like which height do you want. So you could work in this also. If you prefer. This is what you have to think as a group, which is the best. I'm going to show you the base. Okay.
So you have a path view, something like a path view, like how we illustrated to see the path. It's really useful.
For what exactly?
If you see the path that you, how can I say it?
And if you want to see the path, you could do something like this, no? This one you want to see?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing that you could do, that is an example, is basically you could go here and where was display mode outline. Okay?
Yeah, so more like this.
And then if you go to display mode outline, yeah, it's this one. Okay. It's 3 minutes. Then you could basically, so don't care about fill and engrave and scroll, just you are seeing basically the outlines. This is what you were talking, no?
Yeah.
Okay, this is in view, display mode, and then outlines. As a normal, we will work like this. Okay, so let's gonna come back to here, and then 80 by 7, and then the easy way. Instead of 2 squares, I will use basically the characteristic of stroke style, and I will use this one to define the thickness. Okay, so I will do one line with this tool, the draw bezier. So I could basically make straight lines. I select one, and then another one with the. How can I do? Okay, let's say this distance. Okay, and then enter. So now I have a line that basically is a line, nothing else, but I will control it by the things that I want. And I will put it here, I don't know, more or less. Okay, so which was the thickness? 3.5. Okay, so let's gonna start for 3.5 millimeters, and then I can copy as many times I want. Okay, and I'm gonna select everything. There's a lot. I don't know how many we need, but it's okay. And then I'm gonna use another tool that we have, that is the alignment tool, that I think so it's here in some place. Align and distribute. Okay. In order to basically align everything here and distribute it equally. Okay. So now I could place it, all of them, more or less here. So right now I will have holes, because then I will remove this part from the same size, and what I would like is basically, if we know that our curve is between 0.05 and 0.2, or something like this, it's like make this gradient in the thickness. So let's say that I wanted to, this is 0. Okay, it's too big, it's too small. Okay, okay. I'm gonna write here the dimensions. I think it's too big also. Okay. From 3.5 to okay, let's say that I have this, and now I'm gonna align everything, and I'm gonna distribute equally, more or less. I could do the same, but from here, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. And then basically this, and then this. Okay, it's okay. And now I will say okay. Let's say 40, 45. No, sorry. Sorry. Yeah. This is what we are trying to replicate. But the thing is that if we have 3.5 is our thickness, and we cut it, basically what we want is to increase, because what we want is to have the joint like tight, no? So from 3 to 5 to 3.6, because when we cut it, we're gonna reduce. It's not reducing, it's increasing. Yeah, this is what but then I will need another one, no? And then I could do basically. Okay, so like this, and then like this, and then, sorry.
And again, remind us something, so this you would do to check what type of fitting
Is the best one.
is the best one
For
your press fit.
for press fit and for your material, yeah.
Okay.
So in theory, you should do this
With you start a new material.
every time that you start with a material.
Okay. Yeah.
So to control. But this is if you wanted to do a press fit construction kit or a press fit solution.
Yeah. Okay.
If you don't want a press fit solution and you don't care about accuracy, then you could work more free.
Okay.
But in that case, that we wanted to have a nice joint without glue, without anything, we need to. And as I say, if you try with one of this material, with an acrylic of that material, and you try to join two pieces that are not perfectly tight, you will break it because that material is like easily breakable. With the wood or with cardboard, you could force it, and it's quite enough. So you are not gonna break it. Probably you could force the join, and you will do it. But for that kind of plastics or other materials, it's complicated.
And you recommend always showing by increments of 0.5 millimeter?
Yeah, 0.05.
Oh, 0.5.
Yeah, I would say like so.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Well, this is like something like this. So we could try it, but 0.1, 0.2 is what I assuming that is gonna be burned.
Yeah.
So I will do an incremental of like this. So yeah, so let's gonna select this, same, and then I will put this, and I'm gonna do the technique of going up and going down. Now this is 0.1, so here we are going to, okay, maximum, yeah. Have sense this thing? Yeah, no? Of course, there's a lot of other million of tests that you could do with the laser cut, as for example, the raster thing. So the raster, you could just basically have some patterns and try to raster it just to see which one it creates a better effect. Do you know something like this? It's okay. Do you know the concept of halftone? No. This idea? How you basically, this is more or less how the laser translate the colors. How tone, raster, something like this. It's gonna be. Basically, what it's showing here is more or less what is happening when you are like rastering an image. So, and you will see there in the settings of the machine that when you wanted to raster something, so basically there's two processes, I don't know. So there's the vector process, so cutting or engraving, and then the raster, that it means that you have an image, a PNG, a PNG bitmap. How the machine translates the colors is something related with more or less what we are seeing here. So, and you will see in the settings of the machine that if you could choose different patterns, different, like, let's say, pixelations. And it depends of which of one you choose, you're gonna get different results with the same image. You don't have to do anything with the image, it's just which settings you choose in the material. Okay?
And to raster, it uses bit.
Yeah.
It doesn't use vector design. So
no, let's do it easy. If you want a raster, it's an image. Yeah. And if you want a vector or engrave, it's an so if you're gonna cut or engraving, it's a vector.
It's a vector. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
No, because I mean, you will see. It's by basically when you have a drawing and you send it to print or cut. It asks you, the software asks you, do you want to cut? This is a vector or this is a raster? Okay. Even if it's a vector, if you say that it's a raster, it's going to translate everything in a raster process.
I just thought that the machines didn't read, what I understood before was that they didn't read the bits images.
Yeah, they do.
They do. And this is just the way they translate.
Yeah, this is basically when you give them a bitmap image, this is how basically laser represent the colors. So shooting, basically, different like gradients. It's not basically like this. It's not exactly like this, but this is the better approximation.
So you just take an image, set it as bitmap, and you send it.
Yeah. No. GPG. It's like Yeah, you don't have to do anything. GPG, PNGs, all of this. So just basically you put in the right scale, and then when you send it to print to CAD, you choose, you tell to the machine, it's like, this is a raster. So this is a raster image. This is not a vector. And then the software knows what have to do, what you have to do. Okay. Ricardo. Okay. So so we have this. The only thing, oh no, we have this, but we don't have. Basically, we didn't do the most important thing. That is basically change the size of the thickness of our elements. So let's say that here, if I go here, I have basically the stroke of 3.5. But if I go here, I continue to have this. So I'm gonna change 45. If I go here, change 4. Of course, we are not appreciating anything, but we have to believe that we are doing right. So I'm going to change. Well, this is why it's important to work in parametric designs, because you don't have to do it like this. So just you say, I didn't want it to show in Grasshopper because I wanted to push you to use like open source tool, but in Grasshopper you could define basically these squares, and then you could say, okay, this is, let's say, A, and this is A minus 0.01, and this is A minus 0.02. So just you change one parameter and everything is set. Well, here, this is a test, so we are not going to lose too much time. Okay, so I have this. Okay, so now I'm gonna take everything and I'm gonna basically combine because I wanted to boolean everything at the same time. Okay, so select this one and also this one, and then path diff. Ooh. Interesting. Let me do one thing. Okay. I was forgetting something. Okay, why it's not working? Because so here we are seen as a square or as a rectangle, but it's not a rectangle. This is a tricky that we are doing with Inkscape. So this is basically a line. Sorry, a line with a huge stroke, but this is not a rectangle. So if I'm trying to boolean this square from this one, is boolean square from a line without, without thickness. Okay. So before boolean, what I have to do is basically convert these lines that are here, these lines, basically in a square. It's basically I'm doing the same that I was doing tracing images, but tracing elements from Inkscape. So if I go here and path, and then I could stroke to path. Okay. So if I do this right now, these are elements I converted in squares, well, rectangles. Oh, and and now I could basically make the difference. Okay. And now this one is our shape. Okay. Yeah. And this one is basically what we will try to raster. Yeah. Have sense for you that you're gonna teach them how to use Inkscape? Yeah. Okay.
What happens if you raster it now?
What happens if I?
How happens if you did that? Now it's one element, not the red one.
Yeah. Did you? Okay. So what do you have?
A new one like this, and I select them all.
Yeah.
I need to group this.
You need to group if you wanted to do the Boolean one in one time. So in one time.
Grouping, and then I can select both and switch.
If you go to basically path and then difference.
Different. Yeah, but this has to be in the back.
It has to be in the back, yeah.
Yeah.
Is the open source Illustrator. They have basically the same functionalities, but it has, for example, a nice functionality that I don't know if it happens in Illustrator. That is this one. Let me see if I find where is this one. There's a way to see the code in Illustrator. I don't remember.
Could be, I'm not sure.
There's a way. No, the code of the images. So look, if I select here, for any single shape that I have here, I have basically the information that it defines. This it means the IDs, but then some characteristics as I don't know, fields, something like this. So I could basically select everything that it has these characteristics and change it in.
That is for the file.
This is for?
The file. See what here. You have the.
Yeah. But could you do it in Illustrator?
Oh, yeah, look. That's the interactivity.
No, it's not the history. It's the properties of the drawing.
Here you can put JavaScript in it.
No, you have this info window that it just tells you the X and Y.
Because we also has SFG interactivity for us. But without that,
In theory, it should be not so accessible, the information that generates Illustrator, because basically they live from
I know there are some JavaScript plugins where you can use like scripts, JavaScript.
Yeah,
JavaScript
that do these things.
that do this kind of thing.
Could be. The key is for default, right? A G-code for Inkscape, it's here. I think, but you have to install the. I don't gonna go for this, but yeah, G-code tool. But no lo he, pero no lo he aplicado nunca, así que. Ya. Okay. ¿Lo has usado tú? Ah, ¿y sabes cómo usarlo? Yo nunca lo he usado. Ah, okay. Then we will explain later. Okay, so other useful information that maybe you will need. So this is enough to send to your machine, to send to the laser card. Okay. But what happens when you wanted to start the job or prepare basically the file to send to the laser card? So which are the other considerations that you have to be careful? Basically, how we set the power and the speed in the laser card or for the laser card is based on colors. So a recommendation. If you have a drawing that you wanted to laser in different or engrave or cut in different velocities or speeds and powers, so put it in different colors, or better if it's in different layers and different colors. Okay, so Inkscape have here layers, okay, and if it's not here, it's here, okay, add layers, so you could add more layers, okay, and you could choose different layers. Rhino also have layers and have colors, okay, and this is how normally we define first the, let's say no, it's not the speed, so which process do the first? No, it's like the priority, no? It's like if we wanted to engrave first and then laser cut, that is the and then cut, that is the optimal process. We should put the right colors, because basically Ricardo's gonna explain better, but the machine have some colors defined by default. That first it defines the red colors is the first one, and then the yellow colors, and then I don't know, that's a pattern that we will have. This is, I don't explain this because it changes any machine. So I have no sense to that I say you, these are the code color, because then you will go to another machine in another lab and you will not. So what you have to understand is that set different colors and set different layers for different kind of speeds and velocity. This is the only thing that you should understand. Like every time that you want it to, in the same color, in the same drawing, have different options of velocity, of speed and power, put it in another color or in another layer. And then it will be easy to set it in the machine.
So when you mean either or, so either put it in a different color or in a different layer.
Yeah, let's imagine that I have this. And I have, okay, and I have this. Doesn't matter. There's different strategies, okay, so we could talk about this, but imagine that you wanted to be sure that first you wanted the small dots, right, the small circles, be cut it first, and then the other one, the big one. So it depends on the software that you're using. You could tell inside, outside, different strategies the machine do automatically. But if you wanted to be sure, put it in different layers.
That's a classic, because if you cut first the big shape, maybe it moves, and it's not going to be so precise the small cuts inside of the geometry.
Yeah, if you're thinking the material that we have, that material, as you can see, is perfectly straight. It's like, wow, this is gonna be when you put it in the machine. There's gonna be some part that are a little bit like this. So it means that if you cut here the circle is gonna be, and then you are working with precision. Of course, for some tests, don't care. But if you are working in a precision mode, then you want it to define all these things. And the only way is have the right color settings and see which color is gonna be the first and then the second one.
I think the general rule should be to have separated by layers.
Yeah.
It's because if you have it in layers, you can add later a color depending on the machine.
Yeah, and here you will see another thing that normally we use Download for send the files. To send the files. So basically, in Rhino, you could choose many layers. You could just move objects from one layer to the other one. You could select objects inside one layer easily and change the colors or something.
And another important thing is to select pure colors. For the
Yeah.
layers.
Yeah, this is the other thing. So if we are talking about cutting and engrave, not rastering, so these colors should be pures or I don't know. So basically
255.
255 to 0, like red, not kind of red. Yeah, so RGB, when we select the color and we want it to change, okay, so this is basically set it in RGB. So this is red, and also this is also red. No? So the machine just understands the pure color. So 255, 00 as a red, not 250, 246.
Because if not, it's going to put the default amount settings that it's taking the black colors. So it's going to do another thing that you want.
So okay, so let's gonna export this file and let's gonna do a test. Well, first you're gonna introduce yourself and you're gonna do a installation, and then half of us will stay here with the bank pattern and the other one's gonna be there. Okay. So okay, so why you don't present yourself? Also, Martin's here, the manager. I think I presented Martin before. They're gonna basically first do a kind of little explanation how the lab works. Basic things that you have to take care every time that you want to use the machine. So basically, if you have questions, ask. Okay? But basic rules that are important. So are basic but important as abstraction things, so some kind of things. And then I will save this thing and I will give it to you. Okay. So,
Yeah, I think the first thing I guess we should talk about the as far as the workshop goes is safety. And if you have long hair, you want to make sure it's tied back before you use the machine, so your hair can get tangled up into rotating spindles and dragged in. There's been some terrible accidents like that in different universities around the world. Also necklaces, or if you're wearing a hoodie and you've got these strings hanging down, like your hoodie right there, the white strings, quite dangerous. Try and wear appropriate clothes for work. It's not a fashion show here, but you can wear some jeans and at least some canvas or leather shoes if possible. Please don't come in with open toe shoes or flip flops to use the workshop. You can really hurt yourself very quickly. Always wear safety masks. Always ask us if you're not sure about anything as far as using a machine. We'd much rather train you, stop and give you the advice you need rather than see you try to use the machine yourself and cut your hand off. So these things can happen. So before you get started using power tools in the workshop, which I think will be when you do the make something big center, we'll just start using power tools and stuff.
Yeah.
So I think we're going to try and do a training session
Before,
for you
yeah.
guys, get you comfortable with all the stuff that you can cut fingers off with. You don't have to figure it out for yourself. And of course, if you're not comfortable using one of the tools that we're trying to train you on, that's fine. You can say, I'm not going to use that tool personally. And we can make cuts for you if you need us to, Some people just scared to death of certain tools. If you have a lot of fear, you're not confident, you can make mistakes like that too. A little bit of fear is useful. But if you're shaking and not coordinated, then obviously that's not good. So talk to us. And we're not just here to help you learn how to use tools, we're also here to offer you a little bit of guidance and design advice. We have a lot more experience in making stuff than most of you probably do. So we've learned a lot of lessons the hard way in terms of snapping end mills, which cost 50 euros or 100 euros a piece, or ruining an entire sheet of material. Or worse still, some people go ahead and machine 10 sheets of material and then realize there's a problem with their tolerances. And the whole thing is ruined. So there's a lot to be said for coming to us early, saying, I'm thinking about doing this. What do you think about, what are going to be the problems with fabrication? Don't wait until it's your book time slot to actually use the CNC machine to start discussing how to make something. Come and see us early. I think it'll be beneficial for you, and it should reduce the amount of time you need on the machines too. Your work's going to be more efficient. You won't be doing things twice or 3 times to get it right. And it's going to free up the machines so that they're more accessible for you and the rest of the people here who use the machines.
Yeah, we are not saying that you will not fail, but because I think so it's important to fail, especially someone that is talking like this. But it's, especially for the final project, I think so it will be super useful if they could come with your help in terms of idea and how to do it. Because during the week assignment, I think so they will be busy, just following the course, because it have 1 week, it's not too much, they will discover. But also they will be here all the day, so they actually will help.
Yeah, I guess it's more for the final project, maybe something big. That's when we're most useful, I guess, for advice. Or machine design, you guys have decided to build a machine.
Yeah, for me, when they start going outside of the room, I think so. It will have sense to ask to everybody. There's a lot of people here that knows a lot of things, so use them.
Yeah, there's a lot of specialists here. You've got Angel and PM that are very good with electronics.
Yeah.
Ricardo, Matteo, your go-to people for laser cutting and CNC machining. You've got a fantastic new intern running the 3D printing room, doing a great job. So we're here for you guys, so don't be afraid to ask us questions. We'd rather you come and ask questions than get it right and do it twice or 3 times.
Okay.
You can actually just paper the names, the pictures of the people and what they're specialized in.
I think if you look on Barcelona's website, there's this small description of everyone in the team, the picture. So that would probably be your first stop.
Yeah, I could provide. We could do in a kind of spreadsheet if you want. With at least the most like I'm not gonna say accessible, but it's like the most common like guys or stuff that actually normally that you could just ask. Well, but basically.
So yeah, when you guys start using machines, the most important stuff that we worry about is people never leaving machines running by themselves. It's the really fast way to start a fire and burn down the machine and maybe the building too. So that's rule number 1 as far as operating machines. And also leaving the machine clean when you're finished. It should be clean when you arrive, and if it's not, tell us. We'll chase the last person who used the machine. But the idea that we would like to push around here on everybody is that when you finish and use the machine, it's completely clean and ready for the next person to come along with their materials, fasten it down, and start machining.
Also related with the tools, just you use them and then you put it back in the right place.
Yeah, we've had a lot of attrition of small squares and precision rulers. We're not very happy about it. It seems like people are taking stuff from the lab and taking up to their studios or whatever and not returning it. So we're getting pretty pissed off, and we're about to sit down with the entire EAC school and give them a talking to. We know it's not you guys, it's about it. But yeah, it's important that we don't have to keep repurchasing over and over because we don't have enough funds. We're not MIT. We don't have shitloads of money to spend every month on buying new tools. But yeah, we'll provide you with just about everything you need. We're a little bit lacking on 2 main areas in terms of we don't have a lathe. We don't have real metal machining capabilities. We do some soft metal machining with the shop off. It's extremely slow. So those are our 2, probably our 2 biggest gaps in what we have for equipment. But compared to a lot of fab labs, we've got some pretty luxuriously large machines. So I think you guys have got a lot of good tools to play with, and it's really up to you what you make of it. Hopefully we'll see some great projects.
Okay, something.
Yeah, sorry, I was like trying to save the file. Do you want to do kind of like explain something from the outside or just jump directly to?
You guys have already looked around. Any of you guys have questions about what we've got here for machines, or have you already checked them? Everyone's pretty aware of it.
I'd check out the lab again. I'd definitely be glad you do another one. Just a really important deal with